All right, let's be honest. If you've ever gotten sucked into a home renovation marathon on a Saturday afternoon, you know the dream. It just looks so easy, so satisfying. And the profits? Huge. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what it really takes to flip a house. Oh, yeah, you've seen it 100 times. The dramatic before and after shots. The fun couple swinging sledgehammers, picking out tile, and then, bam, they're celebrating a giant check at the end. And man, it's an appealing story, right? That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Well, the real secret, the thing that makes or breaks a project, has almost nothing to do with what you see on camera. Okay, let's dive into this, because the reality is way less about design choices and a whole lot more about cold, hard math. See, before a single wall comes down, before anyone even thinks about paint colors, the best flips are already won or lost. And it all comes down to a simple but absolutely critical rule of thumb. It all starts with one key number. That number is the after repair value, or ARV. Now, this isn't what the house is worth today. It's a really educated guess of what it will be worth once all the magic is done. Everything, and I mean everything, is built on this one number. So how do the pros use that ARV? They use the 70% rule. Here's the breakdown. You figure out your ARV. You multiply that by 0.7. Then you subtract all your estimated repair costs. The number you get isn't your profit. Nope. That is the absolute most you can pay for that property. That's your walkaway number. That other 30%, that's your buffer for your loan costs, realtor fees, taxes, and hopefully your profit. If the numbers don't work with this formula, a pro doesn't hesitate. They just walk. Okay, so you've got the formula down, but you need a deal to apply it to. And this right here is where the TV fantasy completely falls apart. The real hunt for a property and the money to buy it is a total grind. On TV, it's like, oh, look, honey, a charming fixer-upper just popped up on Zillow. The reality? Forget about it. The best deals, the ones with enough room for profit, are almost never on the public market. By the time you see it, it's too late. The real money is made finding people who need to sell before a sign ever goes in the yard. And this is how they do it. This is not casual scrolling. This is straight-up detective work. Pros are digging through public records for owners who live out of state. They're looking at probate court lists. They're tracking pre-foreclosures. They're literally driving for dollars, just looking for houses that look run down and neglected, then finding the owner. It's all about getting to the deal before anyone else does. And forget about using your life savings. Most flippers are using other people's money. Look at this chart. That massive slice of the pie is hard money loans. These are not your typical bank mortgages. Hard money lenders care less about your 9-to-5 job and more about the quality of the deal itself. They provide cash, and they provide it fast, which is absolutely essential when you're competing against all cash buyers. We're talking closing in days, not months. All right, let's move on to the part everyone loves to watch, the renovation. You found the deal, you got the money, now it's time to make it pretty. But the budget you see on TV, it's a fantasy. The real budget is a minefield of costs they just conveniently edit out. Right? We see the big, flashy stuff. A new kitchen, sparkling floors, maybe a fancy bathroom. It looks so simple and straightforward. But here's the thing. There is a whole universe of expenses called soft costs, and they have nothing to do with hammers and nails. These are the invisible costs, the death by 1,000 paper cuts expenses that can absolutely destroy your profit. And just look at this list. I mean, it's intense. You got things like architectural plans, engineering reports, surveys, permit fees, zoning applications, and all the while, every single day, you're paying interest on that hard money loan. TikTok. These soft costs are not optional, and they can add up to tens of thousands of dollars before you've even bought a single can of paint. So speaking of paint and floors, let's talk design. If you've looked at houses lately, I am sure you felt this exact sentiment from a Reddit user. It's the one thing everyone notices, the infamous gray vinyl plank flooring. It is everywhere. So why? Why does every flip look the same? Well, it's not because flippers have no taste. It's pure business. As one pro on Reddit said, plain and simple, anytime they try something different, the house just sits on the market. Gray floors, white walls. It's safe. It's a blank canvas that appeals to the biggest possible pool of buyers. And in a business where every day you own the house costs you money, safe is smart. Okay, so now we've reached the end game, the sale. This is it. This is the moment where all that risk, all that stress, and all those spreadsheets are supposed to finally pay off. But as you can probably guess, it is never, ever guaranteed. So what does a good profit even look like? Well, It depends who you ask. Some flippers aim for a specific percentage of the final price, maybe 15%. Others have a hard minimum. They won't even look at a deal unless they think they can clear at least 40 grand. And then you've got the big players who are only hunting for those six-figure home runs.
But those are just the targets. The reality of this business is a game of extreme highs and devastating lows. Take this for example. One flipper on Reddit shared their best deal ever, a staggering $195,000 profit on a single house. I mean, that's the dream right there. That's the kind of win that makes all the headaches worth it. But then you have the other side of the coin. Another investor told their story of a project that went completely off the rails, ending in a gut-wrenching loss of 105 grand. A single bad estimate, an unexpected problem, a shift in the market, that's all it takes to turn the dream into an absolute nightmare. And the money isn't the only high-stakes part of this. The impact that flipping has on our communities, well, it's a huge debate. Are flippers neighborhood heroes who take the ugliest house on the block and make it beautiful, raising property values for everyone? Or are they market vultures, just snatching up affordable homes and pricing regular people and first-time buyers out of the market entirely? And you can really hear the pride from this flipper's perspective. They truly see themselves as improving the community, getting rid of a problem property, and making the whole street better.
But on the flip side, you have this sentiment which is just as passionate. This comment captures the real anger and frustration from people who feel like flipping is making the dream of just owning a normal home completely impossible. So what's the verdict? Is house flipping a vital engine for improving our neighborhoods, or is it just a high-stakes game for investors that ends up hurting the next generation of homebuyers? The real answer, of course, is that it's complicated. Behind every shiny after photo is this complex world of financial risk, hard work, and real consequences for real people. The reality is just so much more fascinating than anything you're ever going to see on TV. Thanks for tuning in.